So welcome. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please follow me. And if you're on TikTok, awesome. I'm glad to see you. This is going to be about the New Age movement and the corruptness that has happened to the New Age movement. No different than what happened when Yeshua died. And Christianity was, how would I put it? Kidnapped. Yeah. Kidnapped and created by the hands of avarice. That's how I'm going to put it. That's the only way I can put it. I can't put it any other way. Yeah. So the corruption of the New Age movement is sad to me. But there's been a lot of people who founded the New Age movement. Aleister Crowley is a big person we're going to talk about today. Ellen Blavatsky, Alice someone, I forgot her name, and the sleeping prophet Edgar Cayce, and other people, of course, tons and tons of other people. I'm trying to remember the names of the people who originally created the Rider-Waite Tarot. Well, Rider-Waite, hello. Bimbo moment for me. Rider-Waite, woman and a man who created tarot as we know it. But tarot, in all reality, started in Egypt and with pictograms, which makes absolute sense, and evolved over the centuries. And I apologize because I'm still kind of fighting a weird little symptom of a cold. So let me clear my throat. Okay. So now we have, and I'm going to go back to it because I'm really looking at polyamory. And Aleister Crowley was definitely playing around with all kinds of weird shit, including pedo shit. I'm not joking when I say that. This is known. People know this. And so this idea that evolution means free sex is a distortion and fractures the moral values. And I hate to say it because I sound like a preacher from an old Baptist church, but that's not what I'm trying to say at all. Because there's no hypocrisy in what I'm trying to share with you. And I say that with absolute confidence. I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm trying to verbalize using the right words, language, metaphors, images, evocative language that would give you a sense of rooted experience in your own conflict with polyamory in the New Age community. And there are a lot of people right now saying, oh, kumbaya, it works, it works, it works, it works, it works. But I just got off a YouTube channel, a content creator who was in the polyamory community, a real proponent of it, and said that it is distorted. It's absolutely distorted. The premise of polyamory is free love, right? And that you're supposed, if you have the container to love many people, that you should love many people. But my question mark is this: loving many people doesn't mean having sex with many people. And knowing what I know about divine soul connections, let's throw away twin flames for a minute. And let's just throw the fucking taglines out the fucking door for a minute. Because soul bonding doesn't need a name. Soul bonding is a ray, a light, a flame. And it cannot be compared to other connections, sloppy sex, whatever. The soul bond creates telepathy, opens the third eye, awakens the kundalini, the primal force of the I am in you. Okay? And this is known, and this is not just done by touch, it's done by sex, by touch, by the kiss, by being in the same room with that person and never touching them. Just the vibration. And this is common sense. You put one crystal next to another crystal, there's a vibration happening. It's common sense. And one crystal with another crystal does something else. This is why people set up crystal grid lines and shit like that, using quartz crystals in a room to elicit a power, a shift, a protection, an ignition key. So throwing away those taglines, sex with another human being has to have a bond, or else it's just pedestrian sex. And pedestrian sex, and trust me, I've had my run. Trust me. I was a wild child, in the Bahamas, in Florida, in LA. I had my fun, trust me. No, I was not a virgin with 2 men under my belt. And fuck you with your body count. Because men shouldn't have body counts either, just so you know. So, the point of when you're young and you're exploring your sensuality, it's a new toy. Your body is developed, and you've got all these bells and whistles in your root chakra, and you're curious. And you want to explore that. That's normal. But at some point, if you have a half a brain, you're going to realize that's pedestrian sex. It's got to be better than this. I know this is better than this, and I know I'm not romanticizing that. I feel it from my soul core. And this live is probably for young people, actually. And there's nothing wrong with having pedestrian sex in the beginning. I'm not joking. There's something to it where you have a comparative. It's like having a bad meal in a restaurant and choosing never to go back to that restaurant. You go to, no, oh my God, that's the meal. It's called judgment, discernment, however you want to say it. The problem with lack of experience, this concept of virginity being put on a pedestal to this day, is you can't compare. And sadly, some of us need to compare. Maybe for some it's not true. I don't know. I really don't. But I know that the more experience I had in my evolution as a sensual person, the more I could compare what was faulty, what was misaligned with my soul's truth. Using the body as a conduit, for example. And I've said this before, but when I was intimate with my twin, and I'm saying this so you understand the bond, certainly not because I want to put that on a pedestal, is I was having telepathic downloads, Akashic I was having my own Akashic readings, meaning I was literally remembering past life after past life after past life after. It was insane. So the root chakra was activated, and all the chakras had been ignited. 2, bing, third eye, boom, crown chakra, bam, download from the Akashic library. And before I met him, again, meaning we came back into union after like 33 years, I went ahead and I had been meditating. I had been power walking. I had been working with the elements. I had been seeing the magic of my own power to manifest what I wanted. I had done all of that. So it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm learning, I'm being spiritually awakened. No, I fucking knew a lot of spiritual shit before I came back into union. And I had done a lot of work, a lot of self-healing, a lot of activation, a lot of recognizing my shadows. And that was around the time when I knew my marriage was collapsing. Okay? And not to the fault of my beloved husband. Not to his fault, the father of my son. Because I keep saying this again and again, the infrastructure to the masculine is absolutely deviant. It is meant to destroy the masculine. I can't say it any better ways. I've said it a multitude of ways. You got to look at my lives on YouTube, especially my lives on Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, the divine template being destroyed. So this woman talks about, and she was in the polyamorous community, aka New Age community. That doesn't mean that all New Age communities are into polyamory, but it seems to be this weird, arrogant idea that this is the gold standard of soul's evolution, which is absolute fucking bullshit. Because when your body hurts and says, I'm feeling hurt here, I'm feeling abandoned, I'm feeling not chosen, I'm feeling all of that, you don't need to sit there. It's kind of like me saying to you, because I'm your guru now, and I say to you, I'm going to just whip you until you realize that there's pleasure there, or there's healing in my hurting you. It's like fucking insane. Though I have to say sadomasochists do that. They do, actually. There's a psychological aspect to it. So I would say that polyamory, for some people who force themselves into doing that, is a psychological sadism. You are the submissive, they are the sadist, and they control you. They are your master, and they subjugate your will. And they may not do it physically, right? But they do it psychologically. enforcing you to accept shit that's not yours. That is a cult mentality. C-U-L-T, cult, for cunts. C-U-N-T-S. Why do I say it like that? Because it's true. Those are not evolved human beings doing that to another human being. The spiritual law of the galaxies and the universe is do no harm. You have free will, do no harm. It's that simple. It's a really simple premise. Do no fucking harm, period. I don't care if it's physical. I don't care if it's sexual. I don't care if it's spiritual or psychological. Do no harm. That's it. So the polyamorous community, calling themselves New Agers, are not getting it. And there'll be women. Oh, trust me, because there's always are. Oh my God, you're wrong. You're so uninvolved. Oh, you're a boomer. You don't understand us. Bitch, I've been around the block in multiple planets and dimensions, and we've all explored these concepts. But when these concepts came out of Lyra, Orion Belt, these concepts came from highly evolved souls that were sharing frequency, and it wasn't using genitalia to do it. If you get my drift, it was energy frequency exchange. Now, what's interesting about the spiritual community, and I'll explain this to you, and I'm paraphrasing the story. Let me apologize to you who are devout Krishna followers and Radha followers. I apologize. Right off, you know I'm not going to say it correctly, but I'm going to say the essence of it. There's a story of the number is either 16,000 or 160,000 gopi girls. Gopi girls and gopi boys, okay? Gopi girls and gopi... They're cow herders. And they take care of the cows. And you know there's a connection with the holiness of a cow, which is kind of what we're doing with cows and hamburgers is kind of another show. But let me continue. And these demons are going to violate them. There's a battle lost or something like that. I don't know the whole premise. I can't remember. But here's the essence. There's I'm going to say 16,000 gopi girls. And if Krishna doesn't marry them, if somebody doesn't marry them, they will be dishonored. So remember, he's connected to Radha. That's his divine counterpart, twin ray if you want. Monadic rays, okay? And so he marries them. All 16,000 or 160,000, whatever the number is. And it's funny because 16 in Kabbalah numerology and in tarot is the tower. But when you transmute it to 7, connected to the planet Venus, it is the journey. Does he have sex with all of them? He has sex with none of them. His gaze is the nectar that explodes in their heart. His gaze, not his hands, not his wee-wee, his gaze. So he is still true to Radha. He still belongs to Radha, and she belongs to him in body, soul, and mind. He does it to help these gopi girls from being dishonored as tainted. Do you understand? And what that spiritual community took it on as is to now inflate their argument on polyamory. I'm just saying it like it is. Now, am I a devotee to Krishna? Absolutely. I'm going to say it. I'm a devotee to Krishna and Yeshua and Buddha to some extent. And don't forget, Buddha left his wife and child to seek, self-realization. So no matter what we're doing, no matter if we're an avatar, a master in the spiritual, in the spiritual realm, when we're having a 3D experience, we're having a human experience. That means we sometimes harm people. We don't mean to harm to grow. But polyamory shouldn't be one of them. And why am I saying that? Because it is harming people. And what I find really fucking disgusting, I've been watching this for 15 years. and this is 15 years of really watching it. My entire life watching it. Remember, I was born in the 60s, and I watched free love in action as a 10-year-old, as an 11-year-old, as a 14-year-old. I watched how people were doing it and how drugs were very much a part of it. And remember, again, using the term twin. Twins that cheat on a twin usually have addiction problem. They're not in their full mind. They'll take, ecstasy, right? And they'll take Academy, apparently. A person that keeps coming up right now that is still got the New Age community fucking shaking is, you know who I'm going to say? Aubrey and Vylana. And they've been doing what I call too much play. What does that mean? It means too much fucking drugs, period. At this point now, it's not sacred plant medicine. By the way, Academy, I'm completely against it. Do not take offense when I say that. I'm not judging you if that's what you had to take to get out of your depression. I'm not saying that. But there are better methods, and I want you to explore them. But with that said, too much play, man. Too much fucking play. I knew a friend of mine who was a sound healer who would do DMT on his couch on a Friday like you're having popcorn and watching a fucking movie. That's insane shit to me. Okay? If you don't approach medicine with reverence and massive time in between doing it, massive fucking time, so you can integrate the medicine in your cellular system. If you're not waking up, I'm judging, fuck it. If you're not taking the medicine and within like 2 to 3 months later, you're not waking up with a grid, crystalline, sacred geometry, with your eyes closed at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're seeing sacred geometry exploding in your third eye. I'm not joking when I say that. Then you're not letting the medicine integrate long enough in your body. If you keep taking it, it's not going to integrate to that level. The third eye opening and the incredible, I'm going to call them holy dreams, divine dreams, dreams that make you feel so light, you feel like you're levitating. It shouldn't be dark dreams. It shouldn't be question mark dreams. It should be absolutely clear as fuck dreams. What I call oracle dreams. So I put my arm out and like shoved my way out of the New Age room a long time ago. Because the distortion, the bastardization once again took over. No different than what the Catholic Church did with the teaching of Yeshua. I mean, they just kidnapped it and basically formed it into their own little agenda. And that's exactly what's happening with the New Age. But to be fair, the New Age with Aleister Crowley and Helen Blavatsky, the difference between Aleister and Crowley, he was doing massive fucking harm. Massive harm. Helen Blavatsky was getting distorted, fucked up, fragmented downloads sometimes, and her ego would not accept the fact that, Helen, today the download is fucked. Let it go. Purify, sage yourself, do something, take a walk in the woods. Right? She was not doing that. Similar to the quote unquote sleeping prophet, where everyone's, all his oracle and all of his teachings and all of his, exposures of, I can't find the word, but all of his oracles were true. Well, how do I know that? Like, seriously, how do I know that? I don't know that. I don't know. When I look at people's pictures, right, I look at their eyes. When you look at Aleister Crowley, it's just, there's nothing to say but evil. When you look at Ellen Blavatsky, it doesn't make my heart lift like, oh yeah. When I look at Edgar Casey with those, it feels really, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. And I'm not saying that he didn't say good things in his case. I'm just saying I actually was never attracted to his work. Never. And it's funny how all the people, like for me, Rampati Lobsang, which people call them a fraud. That's the irony of ironies. Rampati Lobsang was a walk-in in a British man's body. And the book called Something Venus, or Journey to Venus, the opening letter, it includes his wife that talks about how that man was, that was not my fucking husband. So walk-ins exist. Walk-ins are souls, high-level souls that say, that have it, like you could say a soul contract, or make a soul contract with another human being, right? A human being having an incarnation, and this soul, this human being is saying, I am so sick of this fucking life. I can't do this anymore. So I don't want to be in this body anymore. Like, I don't want to be here. And the walk-in says, I'll take your body. You've got about 9 years left. I'll take those 9 years. I'll take them on. Meanwhile, the soul is relieved of that, the burden of continuing the incarnation, and the walk-in takes over. Movies have been made about that in the 1940s. I kid you not. That's the thing. That's funny. So somebody way back when already knew that truth. That's obvious. So Rampati Lopsang was a Tibetan monk who actually incarnated, or you could say, took on this British man's physical body, and began writing a lot of books on the subject of his life in Tibet before 1959. And why is it important? Because there's a whole concept of traveling to other planets and things of that nature. One of the things that I have to say about the teachings that happened during ISKCON, Prabhupada was an old man from India, a little brown man from India, who looked African American, and he came to America in the 60s. He was broke as fuck. He was in his mid 60s, I believe, and he was helping. He was in New York City, to be exact. And the hippie revolution was beginning. People were dropping acid, especially young kids. And he was telling them stories that they had seen in their visions, or similar to their visions. And so you could say the revolution of that religion established itself in the USA. And one of the things I did love, and I do love, because I've been in the temples, many temples, and I've actually donated my time in the kitchens in literally working with the food and people chanting mantras, which makes it prasadam, which makes it holy food, because all your energy is on making sure that the food is imbued with high Sanskrit energy, using, in this case, Hare Krishna, or what have you. And there was a purity to that movement. There was a purity until there wasn't. And I think it's trying to bring itself back up. But what I will say is that it was a generous religion. Why? Because it would feed people who were broke. It would feed the homeless. You could come to their kitchen and ask for food. This is very, very similar to the beggar's bowl of the Buddhist tradition, where ascetics would go out into the world and with their bowls, their begging bowls, and get whatever food people had left in there, for that day's meal. So there is a generosity, and I love religions that are more generous. When I was a kid, Catholic churches still had their doors open. Today they're all locked. I don't know about Europe, but I know that I've never seen a church I could walk in and just relax. Maybe St. Patrick's was the last church I ever walked into in New York City on Fifth Avenue, where I could just feel the energy. Energy and energy, my friend. Energy is energy in holy walls. So the point of the New Age is that it's going through its teenage years. It's being bastardized like you wouldn't fucking believe. And polyamory, sexuality, is being used as a tool to lie to people, to elevate them into accepting things that they're not ready for. Not everyone is ready for it. And people, young people especially, impressionable people, people who want to belong, are being forced to do shit they're not ready to do. Because you see, we are hitting the root chakra here. We're not just... Do you understand what I'm saying? We're hitting the root chakra, which is a disruptor or a healer. We know this because if you harm someone, if you grape them, the root chakra is fucked for some people for their entire life. So clearly the root chakra is a powerful Moldavite of healing or destruction. I find it interesting that they haven't come to a place of polyamory, meaning I love you, but I'm not going to have sex with you. How's that? Polyamory, platonic polyamory. How's that for an idea? Now that's high fucking frequency. Why is that? Well, because that's what they were doing in the higher planets. Polyamory was, I love you. I will exchange my energy with you, but I will, it came from a place of purity, of real purity, not animalistic desires, packaged in high vibrational new age ascension light codes. It's all bullshit. It's words. At that point, it's word salad. And it's dangerous because what's happening with the human experience and the ego, remember, aka Blavatsky, her ego, Aleister Crowley was just pure evil, period. There's no fucking, trust me when I say that, he's still in status. He's still in what Michael Newton talked about when serial murderers go into places. There's certain places where they're decontaminated. They're not allowed to incarnate again. He's one of them, okay? With Blavatsky, to be honest, there was an innocence, there was a naivete. Also, her ego was really raging. But energetically, she's making the repairs. You know what I mean? She's repairing the damage. But it wasn't to harm. And and she didn't want to look like she had egg on her face, right? She didn't want to back away. She didn't want to lose face on some of her corrupted downloads. She wanted to just double down. Fuck it. I don't care if people say I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. And yet she was wrong. And she kind of knew it, but doubled down. We all make mistakes. Like somebody pointed out to me today, for example, I'll give you an example, that in my Ho'oponopono guided meditation, I didn't evoke the Ho'oponopono in the sacral and the heart chakra. Yeah, I didn't. Because I did it off the top of my head. Is the guided meditation less potent? No, it isn't. Why do I say that? Because it isn't. Because you're working on all the chakras. If the whole point of some of the things that we create is not infallible, it's not perfect, it isn't going to be. You see what I'm saying? And you can redo it. I might decide to redo a Ho'oponopono guided meditation to invoke all of the 9 chakras on that level. But I don't know. I might. But I prefer doing things not written. I prefer doing things from the heart space. I prefer speaking from my heart than to have a script. Every blue moon, when I do have something written, I let you know. And I tell you what the source is. Every time. Every single time. And it's not because I'm so great. It's because I want to be transparent. I'm about to read from the ChatGPT. I'm about to read from this book. I tell you. And so, to me, the frequency of speaking from the heart is much more potent than anything written down, because written down there's a change in the voice, and I don't know if you noticed that, but there's a change in the voice when a person speaks from their heart as opposed to when they read something out that they've prepared for themselves as a message to others. There's a change. The vibration is not the same. It is not the vibration, the light codes coming from the voice are not powerful. They're diluted by the fact that the mind now is distracted by the letters that it's looking to articulate, eyes through the mouth, and then forming the words, as opposed to sitting with eyes closed speaking. From the crown chakra to the third eye. From the crown chakra to the third eye to the mouth. That's a whole different fucking setup. And this is why people don't understand that speaking from the heart has a potency that prepared fucking notes and little cue cards and shit like that doesn't have. It doesn't. It's distracting. So we all make mistakes. We're all gonna miss a point or forget something or whatever. And the point of the matter is to always acknowledge it if you're aware of it. If you're not aware of it, what can you do? Nothing. You can only repair what you're aware of. And this ability to forgive yourself ahead of time to some of the missteps, or sometimes you're going to step in dog shit. So we have these people that we've put on a pedestal in the New Age community that honestly, I'm going to say, they don't fucking deserve it. No one deserves to be put on a pedestal if you're here in 3D. You're here in 3D. What the fuck? You're not ahead of me. You might know more than me, or her, or him, or you may not. When you do too much play, aka L-ketamine, acid, whatever the fuck else people are doing. I mean, ayahuasca in their living room. What the fuck are you doing, man? Mixing ayahuasca with the grandfather medicine, St. Pedro. I've heard that one too, which is absolutely stupid as fuck. And I don't give a fuck if you tell me you're a shaman. Just think logically. Why would I mix the feminine and the masculine in one cup? Why? When I should meet the feminine in her own right and the masculine in his own right. And then if afterwards I want to meet the masculine and the feminine together to see what happened, okay, yes, but first I need to meet them each individually. I don't want that threesome, not yet. There's a lack of spiritual and wisdom here. And by no means am I a shaman, but I know I was a shaman in past lives, and that should be enough. Memory of the soul is still valid. And what I would say to you, if I was to tell anyone anything, is don't do Al-Qaeda. Don't do anything that's been made in a lab by human beings who have karma. Fuck that. Oh, you could say, well, divine are made by humans. They're made by shamans. They're made by shamans in the jungles. St. Pedro is literally just dried up, powdered by usually shamans, facilitate shamans. And then the question is, who are you taking this cup from? Would you like to be them? Do you admire who they are? Why would you take the cup from some guy that just, charge you $250, who you don't really like, but what the fuck you need the medicine? That doesn't make sense. Again, lack energy. You should take whatever from a person you admire, or from a person you respect, or from a person you think is badass. When people do bufo, the bufo is collected by the person that's going to give it to you. In other words, they've gone out to go get it. Did you know that? And they get it, and then they kind of gauge by what you need. They get an intuition of what you need. And then they give it to you. That's why I don't like these fucking groups in Utah and those places that have a conveyor belt. There's no respect. There's none. These shamans that actually do it are not making $250,000 a year. Let's just put it that way. That should give you, that's a gauge. That's a good gauge. And they love what they do. And they do it as a sacred service to humanity's healing and rising and their eyes awakening. They're doing it for that. They're not doing it to have a Lamborghini, a Countach, or whatever the fuck, high level, accoutrement of luxury that they want. They're not doing it for that. They're doing it maybe to buy some land, to build their own homestead, their little homestead. They don't want much, nor do they seek much. You should really gauge who's giving it to me, because who's giving it to you is as important as it's as important as who you're gonna have sex with, in a way. It's that intimate. I hope that makes sense, because I hope it does. So going back to Aubrey Marcus, which I keep bringing up again and again, because this is a fast, heated topic that people, especially young women, I keep mentioning that, and men, young men who don't have a fucking spiritual compass at all. These young women, their spiritual compass is being smashed to smithereens because they're second guessing themselves, and women apparently are going to other content creators, going, well, what do I do? What do I? And I'm sitting there, going, what do you mean? What do you do? You say no. That's not for me. Some people will explore it because they're curious. Some people will explore it because they're being pushed by their boyfriend. Some people will explore it because they're being pushed by their girlfriend. And some people will never explore it. They'll just explore the psychology of it. Going back to this woman doing this video, who was polyamorous, guess what she said? Exactly what I said, without me setting foot in the polyamorous circle. I never threw my hat in it actively. What did she say? They don't fucking work. None of them work. She said, well, exactly what I said, which was what? I'm sure there's someone out there where it works, but I've yet to meet him. Bingo. So what we're seeing that cheating is not okay. because it's theft. Quite often, I had a client actually recently, come to think of it. I'm going to tell you the story just because you'll never meet this person and they'll never recognize themselves. But this client, both of them are twin flames, because we're now going to use that tagline to make you understand. There's a soul bond. And the soul bond is so strong. And guess what? He can't make love to his wife anymore. He doesn't want to have sex with her. The wife asked. The wife asked. But he couldn't do it. Well, because he's sober and he can't. Once you've had the nectar of your twin, you can't. That's the whole point. That's one of the things we all agree on. And when twins cheat or whatever, it's usually, do you understand, on their spouse. You know what I mean? In other words, cheating or on you as a twin, or they're having sex with their high-level soulmate or whatever in you, and they continue. At some point, they're going to hit the brakes and go, I can't do this anymore, or they're going to go back into addiction to make it happen. So anyway, he was saying to her, to his twin, I can't even have sex with her and my wife anymore. I don't know what to do. And the child that he has is a 1-year-old. He has a 1-year-old child with his wife, and he will not have sex with his wife because after having the nectar of his twin, he can't go back to his wife. So now what's about to happen is a celibate marriage with a wife who just has a 1-year-old baby, who is healthy, sensual, sexual, who wants to have sex with her man, and he won't have it because he can't have sex with her anymore. Okay, now we're clear on that, right? Okay. And you know what I said? And you're going to hate me for that. He needs to leave his wife. Because it's a lot easier to leave when the child is 1. There's no bond, and the child is a girl. And the child's going to be connected to the soul bond, auric field of her mother for the first 7 years, and it's a girl. Leave now. Leave now and start your life with your twin, because if you leave when that girl is 12, 13, 14, you're fucking her up. At 1, she doesn't have yet a set habit formed of daddy's home, daddy's tucking me in, daddy's reading to me late at night, all of that shit isn't formed. When you leave your kid at 7 or 6 or whatever, you're fucking your kid up. Leave now. That's part 1. Part 2. You're not having sex with your wife. What the fuck are you doing? You're going to eat up her youth, her sensuality. You're going to make her feed on herself going, what's wrong with me? She might gain weight. She might develop drinking problems. She might smoke a lot more than she should, if you know what I'm saying. She might go within and implode, being a feminine, second guessing her desirability to you because you don't have the balls to say, our marriage is done. Am I a proponent to destroying marriages? No, mine lasted 27 years. And if I'm going to save anyone from doing 20, the first, I'd say 18 years were good. And then they weren't. And why that is actually none of your business. But what is mattering, what really matters, is that I wanted to leave the marriage way, way sooner. But there was no outlet, nothing to jump onto. There was no buoy. And going back and trying is great. But if you're not going to be able to make love to your woman or make love to your man like a god, then you are holding him up. You are stagnating their ability to meet a beloved who can do what you can't do for them anymore, which is make love to them, laugh with them, enjoy life with them, all of that. That's why I did that little quick poem today on I broke your heart because I could no longer break mine. These relationships are scandalously fucking hard. No one's gonna ever like you for whatever dishes you make. Never. And all you're gonna do is in breaking your own heart by not doing what you truly want. I don't care if it's to be a helicopter pilot, a ballerina, a fucking, you're straight, but you're really not, you're gay. Whatever the fuck it is, you need to fucking do what you need to do. But polyamory and the New Age movement isn't where the answer lies. It's about you sitting within yourself and going, what is it that I want? What is it that I am? What am I really? Am I a straight man or am I a gay man? Am I a straight woman or am I a gay woman? Am I bisexual? Am I polyamorous or am I bored? What am I? And actively sexualizing these questions isn't the answer. Go to a fucking 10-day silent retreat, for Christ's sakes, where you can't fucking talk to anyone and you figure out what the fuck is going on with you. Do that. Do that, but be honest with yourself as to what it is that you really truly want. And you're going to have to, when these kinds of things happen, the universe is saying, your guides are saying, wake up, sleepy soul. Start reading, start studying, start meditating, start asking the right questions, start journaling, ask the right fucking questions. And running to a cult, from one cult to another. I'm born again, I'm going back to Jesus. It's like, no. Who are you? What are you? What do you want? And when I do readings, you know what I see? I see 10 of Swords with a magician. I see 8 of Swords with the magician. What does that mean? It means betraying yourself. It means the magician is there to manifest what you want, but you don't know what you want. 8 of Swords, you don't know what you want. 8 of Swords, prison of your own mind. You don't know what you want. And that is fucking deadly to a spirit. Because when you cross over, you'll look back and do a life review and you'll have many life reviews. And that is fucking deadly to a spirit. Because when you cross over, you'll look back and do a life review and you'll have many life reviews. It's not just, there's like, in your 30s, there were more shit happening than in your 20s or vice versa or whatever. You get the drift. And then, and it's like, oh, fuck. I had a massive crossroad moment and I didn't have the balls to fucking do it. I didn't pull the trigger. Because of fear. Because of why? Because of fear. I was afraid. Afraid of what? Well, you know, my family. Afraid of what? Your family? You mean the people that were your family? Oh. How many of them were your soul tribe members? My grandma? Didn't she die when you were 19? Yes. So who else in your family? No, it's just soul contracts. I see. Soul contracts with family members in this incarnation that are not your family members as soul tribe members. They were, in fact, many of them were never your family members. In fact, the last time your mother was about, let's look. Oh yeah, it looks like in Lemuria. And you met again. Did that work out? Yeah, we finally healed. Good. You did good. So if you could be your own guide and map out in your own, if not in your own mind, visually, fucking take a chalkboard down, you know, like, I don't know, like a 20 inches by 30 inches, get yourself a chalkboard and align, almost like a fucking ancestral map of yourself, going, where do I fit in the chaos that I feel? Visualize it. Maybe you need to literally draw a map. I'm not kidding. I'm here and this is happening and this is happening. And like put little symbols like a family tree of fuckery that you're trying to untangle yourself out of. Untangle yourself, not tangle yourself. And really do the work. It's funny how people like when for a job interview, they'll do all kinds of research on the company, but you won't even research yourself to that level. Oh, come on. To that level. In the moment of what's crowding you into a corner because of fear. Because of being afraid of not being liked, because of afraid of not doing what people expect you to do. It's quite interesting. And it's a castration of your truth. And what is that truth? I don't know. Your truth isn't mine. I actually don't know what your truth is. I have no fucking idea. What is your truth? Do you know what it is? Is this the country you want to live in? Are you sleeping next to the person you want to sleep with? If this was your last day on earth, would you want that person that's sleeping with you right now be the last person you set your eyes on? That should be a good test. My beloved twin, I'm saying that for that, my divine consort, often said, make death your advisor and fear your ally. And this is something he would read from Carlos Castaneda's books to give credit where it's due. But I never forgot that because it was really an inspiration. And it's funny because at the age of 40 is when I started doing Make Death Your Advisor. And that's when magic started exploding. And that's when I was being triggered one by one by different contracts that weren't meant to be sexualized. They were meant to be analyzed. Even going into hypnotherapy sessions to go, what is this? Am I playing out an old template that is toxic as fuck that I need to release? Or is this correct? Is this real love? Or is this an awakening? What is this? You see, the minute it feeds your ego, question it. Because the divine consort template doesn't feed your ego. It is a, and you're going to hate me for that, it is a filling up. It fulfills you in ways that no other relationship has ever fulfilled you. And it doesn't feed your ego. Why do I say that? Because it is a triggering component. The divine consort is a trigger. It doesn't feel safe, and yet you feel safe in the awakening because your soul knows that it is immortal and nothing's bad going to harm you. And so you sit watching the trigger and the nectar collide over you. It's like a waterfall of different storms of emotions that fall over you, and yet you still feel safe in it to some level. And when you don't feel safe, it's because you're overloaded emotionally, and you need to take a step back from the connection by saying to your beloved, I need silence now. I need a day or two away from you. You know what? I'm going to go camping. This is so fucking intense. You're triggering the fuck out of me. I'm exhausted. I need to rest. I need to take a motel room for the night. And that is a real thing. But what polyamory is doing is when what I've just mentioned with the divine consort happens, they go to someone else that's easier to create a distraction from the real work. And polyamorous people are going to say, absolutely not. The real work is blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to say, no, it isn't. Stay in your shit, close your fucking legs, and meditate. The divine work isn't entangling yourself physically in the sheets. The divine work is to go within and go, what in the hell, what, okay, hang on. Why am I running towards another human being to explore them in the flesh and not explore them in other ways? And this sounds, even to my own ears, I sound like a fucking preacher, a nut, a fucking puritanical fucker. I get it. But that's not where I'm coming from. I actually am not. Trust me. I'm coming from a place of aligning you so that if you have more than one sacred partnership, and this is the problem that many of us have who have twin flames in connection with a high-level soulmate, loving two men or two women. That is the hardest thing, and polyamory is not the answer. The answer is selfishness and selflessness. How does that work? Well, let's be honest. You don't love your soulmate the way you love your twin. The love that you have for your twin is unhinged, magical. It is the storm, the sea, the wind, the sun rising and setting, and the moon in every phases. Your soulmate is sibling love. It's incredible loyalty. It's very tender. It's very sweet. You want only the best for them, but it's sibling love. You've had so many incarnations as warrior brothers, as husband and wife in equal respect. You've had children in multiple incarnations. It's absolutely beautiful, but it's still a sibling love. So though it is painful, very, very painful, you are COCK blocking your soulmate from finding their true love. And the trouble is, if they really love you as you love them, and if they really don't have enough self-love for themselves, they will wait for you to come back, and some of you won't come back. And they will, they just will wait and wait and wait until they finally do the work, realizing that they loved you more than they loved themselves. This exercise called Planet Earth, and these incarnations that we have called, classes, You know, I'm taking an elective this year, but next year I'm going to take a philosophical class, and I'm going to take a human sexuality class, shit like that, right? But you're doing it in incarnation that's focused on these particular classes, correct? They're very fucking difficult. They're very emotionally, the level of forgiveness that you have to give yourself and others who have harmed you is something that the Akashic Masters and the Galactic Councils of Light are in awe, because they know the density we're working with. It's like water ballet in quicksand. That's how difficult it is. And it's never going to be beautiful. But what it is going to do is graduate you into the real world, and what is the real world? High dimensions, 5D, 6D, high dimension. So you're no longer a match to 3D. So you've mastered yourself, for yourself and the greater good of all of those on your soul tribe and the collective. It is a domino effect. It is the butterfly theory that impacts people, sentient beings on other realms, other planets, not just this one, you'll never meet. They'll never know your name, your true spiritual name. They'll never know you. But the light codes that flicker out into those realms is undeniable. It takes great courage to be a human being in 3D. And I think that when we were made, they didn't realize, the powers that created us didn't realize to the level of majesty we could actually self-realize. And the majesty is the ability to do the wrong things for the right reasons. It's also to stay in situations out of pure loyalty and duty, but being very radically honest with your beloved person who you can never love like you once did, and to let them know so that they're under notice that this marriage or situation will have to end and will end. You don't know when, but you know it's ending, and you want it to work, but it doesn't look like it can. You put them under fucking notice so that when eventually you do leave, because you will leave, trust me, one day you'll fucking walk out the door. They're not completely destroyed and by the shock that could actually do massive harm that reverberates into their soul for centuries, for lifetimes. So you have to tell them. You have to tell them. You do not want them to go, what the fuck happened? I had no, because I've heard people say, I had no idea. I didn't see it coming. No, you don't want that. You want them to see it coming. Sure, go into therapy. You might even have bouts of lovemaking. That's really beautiful, very sweet. But you fucking tell them. And you don't tell them, I'm in love with someone else. Don't fucking do that. That's bullshit. Don't post anything regarding any relationship after them, especially if you have a long-term relationship. You keep that shit to yourself. But you tell them, this marriage, this relationship is falling apart. I would love to know how we can fix it. But if we can't fix it, I don't know when, but this is going to end. And I will always love you. And that should be your mantra. I will always love you. I will always love you. I will always want the best. I would caution you to even listen to people who always love you. I will always want the best. I would caution you to even listen to people who hate their exes. Hate them, want the worst for them, want to destroy them, want them to fucking be homeless. Laugh at them being diagnosed with the big C. Laugh. Ha! That's not somebody you want to hang with, nor do you want that person to be anywhere near you. I have created, in a way, a bubble of my own protection where I don't have assholes around me. What a concept. I no longer have to punch a clock and go to work and be around people because a person is paying me to be around those people. That's no longer my, and I'm blessed. That's no longer my karma. Thank fucking God. I know what it's like to hang out with people you work with, and you ask yourself, if I wasn't being paid to be with them, would I be with them? And the answer is usually fucking no. No, I wouldn't fucking be with them at all. You have to pay me to be with these MFers, because I wouldn't be there for free. Let me just say, right? So this whole idea of, oh, Christmas party and this and that, all of that is really... Don't ever lie to yourself. I guess that's my point. Because when you lie to yourself about even something as benign as workplace and work relationships, when you lie about how important they are, you actually now dilute your third eye, your heart coherence. You actually dilute it without you knowing it. Don't do that under any circumstances for any reason. Ever. Because you want your spiritual compass to be as pure as possible. Nothing to be diluted. Never. Not for a job. Not for nothing. That's important. And when you have that kind of reasoning in who you choose to surround you, and you're fully aware of why certain people that you would never fucking choose to be around are around you. You know why? Yeah, it's the paycheck. Okay, cool. That's cool. That's good. Okay, good. Then you're good. Because you're creating a boundary for yourself in realizing that I have no choice for this. Right now, that's not a choice I have right now, today, in this hour. But let me start talking to the universe about creating a new life for myself where I have a choice. Like, despair is not your option. Apathy, despair, it's a no. So, for me, polyamory, is a spiritual bypassing, using sex, rolling in the sheets as a distraction. I'm sorry. It's fun. Pedestrian sex has its place. It can be fun. Don't get me wrong. In the right environment, in the right situation, it can be fun. And if you add help, like drugs, unfortunately, I'm going to say it, then what is just basic pedestrian sex is elevated to a point because you're not yourself. See, that's the problem. That's the problem with not doing things sober or with your divine consort. You don't have to be sober with your divine consort. I'm not saying that, but you know what I'm saying. And so what we're seeing right now is the illusion that New Age was a shiny new horizon. Isn't. And this is why I've coined ancient wisdom, going back to our ancient wisdoms, where we're radically honest about our darkness and our shadows and our light. And we are going to do all we can to truly resonate to our innate goodness and to forgive ourselves. I was having a conversation with my son, and he was dealing with something that was really hard for him. And I said to him, okay, so you regret this. Would you do it now, today, like right now, this week? No, of course not. Okay, well then that's it. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself, because to bemoan, ruminate, and whip yourself for 1,000 lashes on something, on an action, behavior you would never do again, isn't spiritually aligned with your ascension. Forgiving yourself is the key, the very gold key you want to unlock that gate to ascension. So of course you forgive others, but you forgive yourself, because we've all done fucked up shit. And we've broken people's hearts we didn't want to break, but we had no choice. It was that, or literally lobotomizing our entire personage. And we chose not to. And making people happy. Well, I just want people to be happy. I love making people happy. Making people happy makes me happy. Does it? Does it really? Or is it that your ego is so fragile that you need people to fucking admire you? Because, oh, look, she's so good. She's so kind. But is that your truth? You giving and giving and giving and giving? So for your ego to swell, to feel like you're valid, is that really it? Are you doing it to be popular? The cool kid table? Seriously? What are you, 12? Are you doing it to be popular? The cool kid table? Seriously? What are you, 12? Are you spiritually 12? And so it's about saying, I walk my path, and my path is not aligned with this person and this person and this person, and I still love them. I was telling a friend of mine that I had an ex-friend who called me back, and there's certain people I have very big soul bonds with friends, so I'm very tolerant. So, I'll fuck up, they'll fuck up, we forgive. But there was this one friend who fucked up. And she called me, and I said straight up, I can't offer you friendship. And she went, oh, you're still mad? I go, no, I'm not mad. I just don't let, so certain people I don't let shit twice on me. And I said, but, I wish you the best. I mean, there was a neutral zone in my heart. I felt nothing, And instead of ghosting her, and she said, thank you for not ghosting me. I go, why would I ghost you? I never blocked you. There was no point in blocking you. I knew one day you'd reach out to me, and I wanted to tell you why. Because I want you to learn from it. Don't treat people that way. Certain people won't fucking take you in again. And she thanked me. And I thanked her. And the phone call ended. And that was it. You have to be willing to navigate very uncomfortable places with people. And it's not always pleasant. Sometimes it's heated. Heated as fuck. I had one friend where she had issues with the masculine that was not in resonance with my path in any incarnation, by the way, meaning moving from this one forward, not the ones in my past lives. And I said to her, yeah, we're fucking done. She was yelling, I was yelling. And I said, I wish you the best. I really actually love you, but I fucking don't want you in this incarnation. And she went, I understand. I'm really angry. You're not hearing what I'm saying. I said, I don't want to hear what you're saying. What you're saying is not part of my journey. There's nothing, you can't explain to me bullshit. You can't put bullshit on my plate and tell me it's a fucking lentil and rice dish. That's not going to work for me. You're not going to gaslight my truth. You're not going to twist me and triangulate me and make me second guess. I know how I walk and I know where I'm going. You're not part of that journey anymore. So it can go two ways, probably a third as well. But there's nothing wrong with having a human experience. Do I still care about her? Of course I do. Do I want the best for her? Of course I do. Do I want her back in my life? Absolutely fucking not. You see what I'm saying? And this kind of truth for yourself is not cruel. What's cruel is eating shit and letting yourself implode and creating disease in yourself because you don't want to harm, and so instead you're harming yourself. That's bullshit. And that's not ascension at all. That's martyrdom. At that point, you're a martyr. And at that point, you're self-destructing. And at that point, you might actually get into addiction, a bottle of red wine, smoking pot, whatever the fuck you're doing. Having sex to soften the edges. Cheating. Whatever, cheating yourself. And this is something that people have to understand, that sexuality is a very powerful tool. It's one of the most powerful tools in 3D. And if it wasn't, it wouldn't be so fucking used to manipulate the masses. So I'm correct. I'm not even going to ask you your opinion on it. I know for a fact. Because I see how porn, how sexuality is used to fucking brainwash the masses. And how young kids are sexting and doing shit that it's like, what the fuck, man? Do you realize that that image will fucking survive long after you're fucking gone out of this planet? What are you doing? The lack of integrity. I'm going to sound like a helicopter mom, but I'm not, okay? I'm just a woman who is looking at women who are acting like assholes and vice versa. I'll give you an example. My son's come out that he's celibate because he doesn't want to be a boy toy. And women will send him tit pics. And he'll say, no, but I don't even know you. Like, why are you sending me these photos? And they'll say, oh, you're gay. Oh, you're in the closet. And he's had women in the restaurant come up to him and give him phone numbers and shit like that. And he's not interested in he's had his, trust me, he's been a wild man. He's had his women, he's had his polyamorous, he's even done that, okay? So he's been there, done that, been there. And now he wants to meet the divine beloved, okay? And so that's where he's at. Meditation, clearing his root chakra, doing work, and getting ready to meet. Interestingly enough, that's actually how it's done. What do you think? Yeshua was out fucking and banging all kinds of little cowgirls? You think that's what was happening? I'm not saying he didn't have an initiation, but who knows? Maybe there were virgins when they met him and Mary Magdalene. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not saying be a virgin. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying I don't know. Do I? Well, I don't. But I do know that he wasn't banging chicks. I know that she wasn't out, picking up boys. And why do I know that? Because of the essence of the purity of their relationship and this tantric sex that I keep seeing in terms of how the images I get when I manifest and meditate on them is so beautiful and so powerful and so pure. And what do I mean by purity? They gaze and they transmute all kinds of karmic energy, not just for themselves, but for us. It's a domino effect, the butterfly theory. That's why I know. And sex without consciousness is pedestrian sex. And the way it's been used to control and undermine our spiritual connection to our sacred sexuality, connected with our sacred divine partner, is an agenda. It's psyop. It stinks of psyop so badly. It's like the stench of death under the staircase, and you don't know why it smelled like something died here. It's noxious. And people who are disconnected clearly, and quite often by grief, despair, self-loathing, depression, all because of the 1%, all of because of this agenda and system of living, pay to live, pay to play, that we've had to we've had to exist like this for 2,000 years, right? Has created a disconnect to the sacredness of sexuality. Or even, and I don't want to say anything too much here because it's dangerous, but even with animalistic shit, if you get my drift, hopefully you can read my code. I won't say it again. There are people doing things, and some of the things they're doing is based on religious doctrine. And to go around the religious doctrine, they do things by the back door, hint, hint, and they do things to say, well, I'm not doing it because you said not to do that, but I'm doing that, and you never said not to do that. And any philosopher, good person, would go, I didn't know I had to tell you not to do that either. It never occurred to me that you would go deviant in circumventing what was written in these doctrines, these dogmatic doctrines, right? And that is the poison that's rotting the core of divine union. Because once we normalize, and you're going to hate me for saying that, in the woke system, awakened is what I've just been talked about. I've been talking about it for an hour. Being awakened. Woke is an agenda that's deviant. And those are two different systems. One is clear. It lifts your heart. It makes you feel good. It's inclusive of same-gender love. Divine union is not just opposite genders. Feel good. It's inclusive of same-gender love. Divine union is not just opposite genders. It's as well. Okay? You can have a soulmate connection with your same gender, and it is a divine union. You can have an opposite gender situation, and this has happened to people where a person will always be, you know, I don't know, probably because of religious dogma, will marry a man and have children and then suddenly fall head over heels with a woman. And the woman is an embodiment of a sacred divine consort, but it's in the same gender. Why? It's to eradicate dogmatic ideas of what love is supposed to look like. I agree with that. But I also know that some of us, even in the spiritual realms, prefer certain genders. Like I'll give you an example. My preferred gender is feminine, and my divine consort's preferred gender is masculine. It's just how it is for us. But that doesn't mean that's true for every divine consort. I can't tell you whether or not that's true for every divine consort, aka twin. I don't know. I'm not going to lie and go, oh yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like some of us definitely have a preference, even in how we appear to ourselves. And this is something I knew since I was like a kid, but I know that Michael Newton actually talks about it in his books. This is why I prefer Michael Newton over Dolores Cannon. Trust me, I've read and studied both their works. And Dolores Cannon, for me, missed some steps, and there was, and yeah, judgment. Yeah, I hate the word discernment because it's a watered down word. It's a very politically correct word, and at this point now, think of me as George Carlin for a minute, okay? I fucking detest words that have been watered down. Judgment is it. I judge. I like this house, but not that house. I want to buy that horse, not that horse. I love that dog breed, but not that dog breed. I'm judging. I think you're an asshole, but I love this person. Judging. Like, don't fucking politicize your fucking opinions. At all. Fucking say what you mean. When somebody in front of you says unalive, like you're sitting at a table, you're sitting at a cafe outside social media, and they say unalive and corrupt, and they say, you mean killed. Use the right word for the right action. Was it kill? Was it, and I can't go into it because you know what's going to happen. If I do, you know how they've got this little button. So my point to you is that we live in a world right now which is very fascinating, and it should be fascinating to you. It's almost like you want to talk about reality TV. Fuck reality TV. Just watch the shit fucking collapse. The 1%'s collapsing. The New Age community is collapsing. The Orthodox churches and temples are collapsing. The whole fucking game is collapsing. So when they said the end of the world, the end of the world as you know it, fantastic, I'm in. Because now, from that, we build what we think. This is science. Thought become matter. What you think becomes true. Which is empowering, but dangerous. Because if you think shitty thoughts, shitty fucking realities will now spring up like tomato plants. I'm serious. Oh, shit. Except the tomato plants will be unedible. So what you think at this point is the most important thing you can master. And the only way I have found, I am not a guru, okay? And many gurus who claim they're gurus aren't gurus either, just so you know. Trust me. But what I will say is what I found best practice is daily meditation, daily chakra clearing and recharging, and daily mantra. And I mean multiple mantras throughout the day, fucking throughout the day. I drive with my son. I drive alone. I take walks. I'm chanting a mantra. To shut the fuck up of my monkey mind. To tell that monkey mind, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to hear your shit. And because I've been doing it for so long, that the battle between the ego and the soul is not an arm wrestling match anymore. Now it's more of a fear will come up and I'll just shut it down. And it gets shut down pretty quick. And then I start manifesting and meditating on visualizing what I want. The reality I want to co-create. I am the architect, the alchemist and the architect together. Or I can just take a sledgehammer to these concepts and be a cynic. I've never met a happy cynic, by the way, never. They're always fucking miserable people. So to connect cynicism with logical thinking, which makes me laugh because 3D thinking is funny. To logically think 3D is to totally take you off your track, because it's not thinking logical that's going to get you where you want to go. It's feeling the path from your heart chakra, from your body, feeling, hearing your guides, your inner compass. And that is going to navigate you into what you really truly want and you aspire to live in this life, in the next life, in the next life, the higher dimensions of realities you want to aspire to. And polyamory is in the path. And what's interesting to me is that we have polyamory going on fucking full throttle, especially with Aubrey Marcus. This is the way of ascension. We have cracked the code of sacred monogamy, radical polyamorous monogamy. What the word salad? Classic 101 narcissistic in action. I'm judging, that's right. And I'm not going to apologize. And what makes me sad about the New Age community, who are Gen Xers and Millennials, is they preface their fucking videos with talking about how he's a nice guy, how the preface of apologies before they start talking about why this is wrong takes 5 to 10 minutes. Have you noticed I'm not apologizing? Because when you do harm to another human being, you don't fucking preface an opinion. You're fucking up, dude, with an apology or prefacing New Age, politically correct, a fucking prologue. The minute a human being does harm to another, you don't need to explain, but he's really nice and he's had some good teachings. And, a lot of people follow him. And I'm not here to judge. This is what I'm hearing from the spiritual community. When you fucking do harm, politeness goes out the fucking door. Politically correctness goes out. The minute you fucking take someone and twist your agenda to make a person implode, you fucking lost the ability to get my fucking gentle approach. That's Kali energy. And Kali destroys the wrongs, the evils. And she doesn't come in going, can I come in? I really think you're fabulous. And I really think that you've done a lot of good. But the harm you're doing right now, I really love your work. Yeah, Kali doesn't do that. Kali is more like Xena, warrior princess. She kicks down the fucking door with one foot, walks in and going, you're fucking up, dude. And why I'm saying that to you is I want you to be able to give yourself the ability to judge, to talk about why this is wrong, without fucking apologizing for it. We don't have time for this kind of insipid 1984 George Orwell approach to annihilating words, to annihilate our emotions, to simplify it down to the nubs so that no one even knows what we just said. Because words are evocative. Words hold light codes. They create images in the human mind. They elicit chills across someone's spine. And when we annihilate the power of words, we annihilate our ability to ascend our growth. And if I have to offend someone to get there, to help others, I make the path with a machete. Then that's what I'm going to fucking do. And I want you to do that as well. You have the balls. I know you do, or else you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to me. You would have scrolled on to look at someone jumping up and down, selling a bra or a hammock. But you're here. You're here now. And you're listening to me for a reason. So I want you to activate that within you. Your fierce high priestess, high priest energy is with you. That shamanic flame is within you. You are your own guru. And what you do when you listen to people like me is you gather best practice. But you never put any of us on a fucking pedestal. Nor are we allowed to allow you to put us on a pedestal. Even physically. I'll never forget, I was doing a circle of womb healing. I was sitting on a chair and all the women were sitting on the floor and they were looking up at me. I actually jimmied my ass off the chair and then I was eye level to them because I knew that if I allowed them to look up at me, it would wire something in their brain to put me on a pedestal. I knew it instinctively. Body language, reading bodies. And what's fucked up with these gurus is they know that and they would have sat on that chair. Be aware. If you're going to teach, be aware, be aware, be aware. Always be self-aware. Make sure that everything you do is in the round table philosophy. And then you will never have to worry about fucking up. Because once you are a human that wants to share human best practices and high philosophical ideas to other people, and you show their shadows, you're like, you're humble about it. Because you will fuck up, you will step on dog shit. You'll apologize, you'll repair, but they'll never feel like they're destroyed by it because they know you're a human being having a human experience. You've never put yourself above them. You never will. That's why you can't fuck up. And if you talk from your heart without your little foot and, little notes and little fucking cue cards and shit like that, you'll rarely, 80% of the time your message will be pure. 20% you'll fuck up. It's okay. No one's infallible. No one. Or you might say things that you agreed on 10 years ago and 10 years later you don't. Like, people are going to come out of the polyamory community going, I agreed in this shit. I was a proponent of this. It doesn't work. It's okay to come out going, it doesn't work. I tried it. Trust me. I had multiple lovers. It doesn't work. It's ugly. It's nasty. It's sticky. It's fucking messy. And these people are no less valid for coming out of that and saying, it doesn't work. Or I was celibate, not because I was celibate to get my shit together. I was celibate because I was afraid of women, or I hated women, or I was celibate because I hated men. I was afraid of men. That's not the right. If that's the reason, then you need to work on that and go, hang on. If I'm going to be celibate, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing it to attract what I really am afraid to attract, because I'm afraid that if it comes to me, it will betray me, abandon me, and destroy me. Well, let me work on this shit. Let me actually work on this. That's beautiful. That's where you need to be. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, let me know now because I'm about to go on. I have to go and get some stuff done. Let me see here. Hang on. Let me read what you're saying. I'm trying to read your comment here. Fuck. There was a comment that someone made about, does anyone know of a woman? Shit, I try to open it up. Let me see here. Does anyone resource for a woman to escape an abusive family situation by chance? I'm going to tell you, can I tell you something? You've got 3 hearts. If I were you, I would do a GoFundMe. I'm not kidding. Do a GoFundMe. Tell your story. And connect with some female, some battered women's centers. There aren't that many, unfortunately. And try to find out if they can help you spread the word on the GoFundMe, because there's no money to help you. You need money. You actually need money. That's number one. If you have a therapist, you can go to some of the universities and colleges that have like therapists in training. They're still going to college for their degrees, and you can find out. But I'm going to tell you something straight up. The apathy is unhinged in these systems. It's unhinged. They don't give a fuck. I'm going to be blunt. But communities do care. And if you could do a GoFundMe and open an account that's completely secret, where all of your statements are sent to you via email, like a credit union, like make sure they don't send shit to your address. Like say to them, don't. And tell your story to certain people who you can, and I don't mean people I mean strangers. And the reason I'm saying, and women, so that some of these women's clubs can actually start pitching in $5 here, so you can get the fuck out of your situation. Because that can actually work. You can get out of that situation, because the first thing is you need to leave. if that makes sense. Okay, that's the only advice I have, because it's weird, because if you had a drug addiction, you get all the help you want. I mean, you'd have all kinds of fucking help. But if you're good, if everything's fine except you're dealing with this, and that's a big deal, there are no resources. Really, there isn't. It's, you know, their answer is, oh, there's a shelter. And it's like every homeless woman I've ever met, for example, has said, or women interviewed on the streets of wherever have said shelters are fucking dangerous. So I'm not going to tell you to go to a shelter, because I personally would rather take my chances in a tent in the woods than fucking go in a shelter. Let's put it that way. So raise money. You need like probably $3,000 to $4,000. I'd say $4,000. So make a goal of 6, so you can get at least $4,000, and don't fuck around with that money. Leave that money, let it compound, let it grow. And when you have the $4,000, get the fuck out of there. Just go, just fucking go, and lock the door for a while from these people. And that's it. That's my advice. I don't know how old you are, but that's what I would do. Okay. So be careful though. You know, you deserve the best. And meditate, work on your chakras, do some of my guided meditations, manifest your life, manifest what you want as if it's happening now. So say, thank you so much. I have my beautiful apartment. I'm so excited. I make this amount of money per month. I'm so excited. Like say, I make $6,000 a month. I'm so excited, and I love my life, and I'm safe. I have a cat, or whatever you love, and my cat is ginger, or my cat is black and white, and his name is Maxie. I'm not joking. Write it every day. Write how grateful you are. Wake up in the morning saying, I am so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have, I think I still have it on my YouTube. That's probably the only video you'll ever see where what I look like back in 2019. And you can look at that video, and it's about gratitude, what to do in the morning with thank you, thank you, thank you, and all the chakras. So each chakra, like you start with the root chakra and you go thank you, thank you, thank you. Second chakra, thank you, thank you, thank you. You do it all to the 9 chakras, and you wake up with this beautiful energy of gratitude. Then you say, angels, guides, and allies, I give you permission to guide me in word and action. And I mean, I have a whole thing, okay, that I've been doing for years. And then I'll say, I attract only people when I sage myself, or whenever. You don't have to, because you may not want sage, especially if they're assholes in your family. But I would say, I attract only people of light. Only people of light come to me wherever I go. Abundance of love, health, and wealth follow me wherever I go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I give my angels, guides, and allies permission to guide me in word and action and protection. I'm so grateful for your counsel. I really need it. And I personally always visualize Angel Michael, Angel Metatron, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel going from... Uriel is a spinning wheel from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head, and he's spinning. So I'm fully protected with 5 bodyguards. And I do it every day. I do it because honestly, when you are awakening from the dark, when you are awake, nefarious forces will come with nightmares and corrupted downloads, and they'll try to fuck you up. So you go, oh my God, this is the devil's work. And then, people go back to their dogmatic beliefs, but it's a trick. It's a trick to scare you, to make you feel like you're not going on the right path. And yet you are. You are going on the right path. Because it lifts your heart. It lifts, and you feel like you're levitating. Okay? And I don't mean in a weird way. Levitating in a very beautiful way. Uriel, Metatron, Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael. I mean, pick your own angels. I'm not joking. I'm just giving you a blueprint. You stick in your thing. But the thank you is a must. It's a must because it's about gratitude. That's a must. In terms of the other things like angels, you pick what you want that makes you happy. So hopefully that will help. And I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry you're going through this. But I really feel as if when we go through shit, because a lot of us have gone through, 222 Queen. Thank you for saying that. That's 6. I love it. When you go through this kind of shit. Yeah, exactly. Raphael. Exactly. When you go through massive shit in your youth, this is a true statement. Your later years are better. Okay? And in some cases, I'm not going to say in all cases, because some people are just, they get so used to the bad stuff that they start saying things, because I've heard them say it to me, like, thank God I hate being around people like that, because it's a dragging energy, because they're cynical and they're corrupted by their own cynicism, and they'll say, life isn't, I don't believe in love. I always have bad luck. I always attract bad things. I mean, I don't even want to say the words, but that you get the picture. And that kind of philosophy, I want nothing to do with. I don't want people like that around me. I don't want to fucking listen to it, because it's like Atlas. It's like, meaning pushing the world up a hill. Good luck. And I don't want to struggle that much. I don't have to. It's like when you want to wake, when you're suffering, when you've suffered this much shit for like 500-600 incarnations or 500-600 years, you'll wake up. Eventually you'll wake up. But you're not here to wake people up who don't want to be awakened. Again, I go back to Plato's parable of the cave, which I did a live on it. It's on my YouTube. You'll have to look for it, but it's there. Look through all my lives. It's there. It says Plato's parable of the cave. Listen to that story. I'm not repeating it again, because it's already, canned and ready for you to listen to. But the point is that as you progress in your ascension, you will be troubled by choices that are very corruptible. And you have to just sit back and go, what is this? Should I go into hypnotherapy for this answers? Should I go into an Akashic reading for this answer? Should I do a reading? Definitely meditate every day. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't just jump in and go, you don't have the answer. Just be honest. You don't have the answer. You have to sit back for a minute or a whole fucking year, and then you'll have the answer. But this concept that everything, the problem with our society is whenever you feel, I never felt this way before, oh my God, it doesn't mean you should have sex with that person, because quite often the sexual carrot, the desire, is a desire reverberating from a past life, and you need to ask, and past lives, and you need to ask, what kind of past lives? What kind of past lives did I have with this person? Were they good? Am I about to step into another karmic loop? Oh fuck. And that's what women and men don't do. I never felt that way before doesn't mean let's jump into bed. I never felt this way before means let me go fucking find out what this is. On a spiritual level. On a past life level. Oh, that looks pretty good. Let's do it. Let's make love. Let's have fun. You're back. Wonderful. Or it could mean, oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, no, bye. No, bye. We're done. The karma is cleared. We're good. All cords cut. We're good. And people don't do that. They do not do that. You see what I mean? So I hope that helped. Okay? I want to send you so much love on your journey. It is very beautiful to be in this timeline of ascension, of massive radical clarity, of things you thought were real imploding. The implosion is fantastic. It's like fireworks. It is fireworks. It's both beautiful and jarring in some aspects. And what's really cool about it is that, guess what? This collapse is for the greater good. It was never about apocalyptic concepts. It was always about bullshit being destroyed, slowly destroyed, imploding very slowly, like it's going on in slow-mo. I mean, come on, let's watch it. We're watching it in slow-mo. And it's giving all of us the time to digest what it means and how we can actually process it in our own way, and also, nudge each other going, are you feeling this shit? Yeah, I'm feeling this shit too. What are you feeling? Well, I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. I'm feeling that too. Or I never thought of that. That's what the slow-mo is about. The implosion of slow-mo is to give you time to process it, to gather opinions and data from people you relate to, exchanging ideas on what's happening as the implosion is going slow-mo. And you're like going, yeah, wow. Well, what we built from that? Well, I don't know. What have they been saying? 5D New Earth. What does that mean? What does it mean? It's funny too, because I'm talking to people. I've talked to at least 100 people on this, and they all want the same thing I want in 5D. We all agree. They may want lotus tents, but I want, another tent. They may want, wisteria growing everywhere, and I want roses and lilac. But we all want the same thing. That's what's amazing. It might have a little bit of nuance, different color or texture to it, but ultimately we want the new earth. And the new earth means everything I've discussed in many other lives, which you want to check it out. I urge you to watch, excuse me, the 3 lives I did on Yeshua and Mary Magdalene as a sacred divine template. I urge you to watch the one that talks about using Braveheart as an example. It's really important. And I urge you, if you didn't see the entire live, this one here, to watch it. It'll be the same image of this man throwing his head back in pain. And the emotions of the oceans is all these emotions. The oceans of the consciousness of the collective, the oceans of emotions. And it can be like tsunamis. One wave hitting you after another. If you've ever body surfed or surfed, you know what that is like when a wave hits you. And I remember calming my nervous system as a wave would take me out. And I didn't know what was up or what was down. To the point where I would actually swim towards the ground, hit my nose, I've broken my nose like 5 times, 3 of them in the beach doing this, but wiping out and hitting a rock with your nose and then finally finding which direction to go up and breaking through the surface with absolute fucking gratitude. No shit, you're breathing again. And a wave coming at you again and not panicking. Something amazing about the ocean. It's a great teacher. And not panicking again, going, yeah, okay, let me just dive back into the wave until I can find my way back to shore. But that's what we're navigating on a spiritual, emotional context. And it's not a time to panic. In fact, it's the worst time to panic. Because this is the time where you have to get your nervous system, calm down. So the answers can be downloaded into your crown chakra, third eye, like dribbling down your throat into your heart chakra, and then making its way down to all the way down to your root chakra, so that you feel grounded in that new realization, self-realization of that truth. And quite often it's an objective truth. Sometimes it's a subjective truth, but as long as it comes from a place of pure intention, not ego. If it's coming from ego, it's a corrupted truth, right? If it's coming from a pure intention and not through the ego, it's bypassing the ego, because the ego, you're like literally, you're shoving it out of the way, going, get the fuck out of my way. I'm not listening to the jabber jibber. And boom, and now you're sitting in that. And it is something, we all have the skill sets to this. I'm not different than you. Okay, you have that ability to do what I just described. The difference between me and you, or anyone listening, is that I wanted this truth. Do you want to take the steps to gain those truths for yourself? It's the work. And some people rather get drunk, fuck around, and smoke pot. I mean, let's be honest. And you can't wake those people out of their own delusion. Okay? Glad I incarnated at the same time as you, Tony. That is quite okay, you just brought tears to my eyes. Love, light, and spirit. Oh my God, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Now I'm going to get emotional. Anyway, on that note, sending you much love on your journey. I'll upload this on YouTube, Sacred Intimacy Tarot on YouTube. Follow me there. And if you're not following me on TikTok, yeah, I'm plugging myself. What the fuck? Follow me on TikTok. Much love. Namaste.